I'm going to call our meeting to order. Laura, please call the roll.
Stu Boyd.
Here.
Denise Chapman.
Here.
Amy Doran.
Here.
Don Kirk.
Here.
Barbara Cruz.
Here.
Alexandra Lessem.
Here.
Nancy Rumpel.
Here. All right. And Nancy, it's on our agenda, so we need to stand for the pledge again.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Nancy. All right, we need to approve this agenda for the study session tonight for August 6th, 2025.
I'll move.
Thank you, Nancy.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, first from Nancy, a second from Dawn. Okay, Laura Lee, please call the roll.
Stu Boyd.
Aye.
Denise Chapman.
Aye.
Amy Doran.
Aye.
Don Kirk.
Aye.
Barbara Cruz.
Aye.
Alexandra Lessem.
Aye.
Nancy Rumpel.
Aye.
All right, our first discussion item is about, it's for the upcoming meeting on August 20th. These are items that we need to be prepared for. So our first item is 3.1 is the approval of the OCR Certified Athletic Training Agreement.
Good evening, Madam President, Board of Education, and Dr. Eller, Top County Assistant Superintendent Operations. Tonight for discussion is a contract with Orthopedic Spine Center of the Rockies. They provide all the sports medicine for all games, practices, all those pieces. So of note, you'll see in the memo attached, it's formatted a little different. On contract approvals, we're providing just some different information. It's professional service, and actually in this, OCR pays half of the contract, so they donate half of the contract. And it's been a partnership since 2013. So regardless, because it's a new year, new contract, we're bringing the contract forward for approval in the next meeting. You'll also notice in the table, we're just identifying what the item is, the funding source, and then the amount. And then in typical contracts, we'll put in their procurement RFP or where it actually originated from, if it was procured. So that is really it tonight. And then the other piece that you notice is a little different. It actually puts in the memo that it's an authorization to sign, delegating an actual person. So we reviewed this memo with our attorneys, just freshening it up for a new year and putting this information in. So it's a little different than the previous memos. It's more information, which is okay. But that's the approval for tonight, is the OCR contract for the $121,000, and then designating a someone to sign the contract, which would be myself.
Any questions?
First, I think it's a great deal for the district. But I guess, I thought I saw in the contract it said 49. Did I misread it?
I'd have to look at.
I mean, it's, unless it was changed. I can't remember what page it was on. It was towards the,
I'll verify that. I don't have that right in front
because
of
if
me.
it's half, that would be 60.
No, sorry, this is already half. So this
Oh,
is
I see.
This is our portion of the half.
I see,
Yeah.
okay.
So it would
Never
actually
mind.
be like 242, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
It is actually more than, because they do benefits and other things, so.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Stu, any questions?
Nope.
Amy?
No.
No. Don, questions?
Thank you.
Alexandra?
Don't believe so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item is 3.2, and this is for 2025-2026. That's current year Board of Education calendar, let me try this again. The Board of Education meeting calendar amendment, and this amendment is because we moved dates around in October to accommodate religious beliefs, and we ended up putting it on the wrong date. So we have to kind of try to come up with a way that will work. So, I don't know if any of you've given any thought to it, or Alexandra, if you've given any thought to it, or,
I have. I mean, it didn't get put exactly on the wrong day. It's just the problem is that Yom Kippur starts on sundown on the 1st and goes until an hour past sundown on the 2nd. And so we moved it to the 2nd, but that would mean we couldn't start until 7:30 or 8 o'clock or something like that night. And so I felt stupid that I hadn't realized this originally, so I apologize for that. But the options, when I realized it, I've been communicating with Barb and with Lorley and with our former superintendent. And there isn't a superb option. The options would be, let me look at my calendar. So the Wednesday before, if we moved it, so October 1st is not a no-go, October 2nd is a no-go. So if we wanted to keep it that same week, we could move it to Tuesday, but then that would be in September. That would mean we would have 3 meetings in September
okay.
instead of only 2. Or could move it to the next week, the regular Wednesday, October 8th, which would keep it in October, but then we would have 2 meetings back to back. And so I don't know, I mean, I think when Barb and I had sort of talked about it, felt like maybe keeping the meetings in October so that we're consistent with having our 2 meetings every month would be a better option, and just having those on the 8th and then on the 15th back to back. But
Any other thoughts on it?
The 8th overlaps with SEAC from 6 to 7:30.
Okay.
So kind of looks like there's gonna be a impact no matter which one we pick. So
Can it be on the Monday, the 6th?
or Tuesday.
Or Tuesday.
I mean, yeah, it could be another day that week.
Okay.
I mean, depending on if we want to try to keep it on a Wednesday or that. Yeah, I mean, that would be an option as well.
Over the 6th, what do you think?
I think the 6th would be fine. I don't see why we wouldn't do a session on the 6th.
I think it would be better because it
Yeah.
gives the staff a little more time, because there's only gonna be a short window to get things turned, and we have to get the agenda out on the 10th, so that's a very short window to turn things around.
Okay.
Um,
So are you saying yes or no to the 6th?
No, I mean, that's fine.
Okay.
I would do it, yeah, as
Okay.
early in that week as you can.
What about down here?
Yeah,
Okay.
the 6th is fine.
Okay. All right, so we need to move,
We'll put that on the agenda for the
yeah,
20th to change.
for the 20th, so we can put it on, okay?
And then I'll just make sure it's okay with Carrie Martin, that they don't have anything going on.
Oh, because that's where we're supposed to go. Okay. All right, thank you. All right. The next item is the standard action consent items, which will include probably the personnel and the additional people that have been hired, which could be a lot. Do you anticipate?
Yeah, there's personnel contracts greater than 50K and a donation.
And donations.
And there's a lot of contracts as well.
Okay, so do we want to take a look at that?
Sure, but I'll pull up whatever
Okay.
you want me to.
The-
Do you want,
Yeah.
What would you like?
let's
All
just-
of it?
Well,
Or-
let's just take a look at the personnel is hugely
Yeah, it is
big.
pretty
So
big.
let's just do the contracts greater than 50 and see if there's any
Okay.
questions we might have.
did any get sent over an email? Any questions already that you've answered? Okay. Didn't notice any, but I would like to check.
I don't really have.
When I read, Nancy, go ahead.
I don't really have a question other than on any of these, they all make sense. My only comment is, and I had talked to Gordon about this way back, was that, I think this is where if obviously not for this budget cycle, but in the budget, in the packet, if this list of all of these was included in the budget, and then what budget line it's on, you know, like on, yeah, the budget has numbered lines, then when this comes up like this, you just put the same corresponding line, and then it just makes it easy, like, oh yeah, here's where we already approved it. That's the only suggestion I have.
Madam President, the members of the board, Robert Ebersol, Chief Financial Officer. We'll take that into consideration. We are looking at trying to reformat the budget based on programmatic instead of just line items. But it would be great if we can include, if at the time of the budget approval in June, we knew what specific contracts were going to be included in the next year, if we include there. If we could include that as a sub-approval of the budget, that'd be great, because that would make this part faster. And we proving it then versus now would be great.
Because it says in the memo, doesn't it, that these were already approved with the budget?
The dollar amounts fall within the budget.
Oh.
You haven't technically voted the contracts.
The contracts.
And the board policy requires you to approve board contracts over 50,000. That's why it comes back to you. For instance, the OCR contract that you just approved will, when it actually gets in a PO system, will not come on this list because you've already approved it. But when you approve the budget, technically you do not approve contracts because we haven't given you that data. You've approved the authority to spend the money, but not the actual contractor that we're contracting with.
So my suggestion would only just make it quicker, easier,
Sure.
less questions.
Yeah, great suggestion.
Okay. Anybody see any others that they might have questions about? Hearing nothing, I assume not. Okay, and then there's a donation, and just one, I think, is what I saw when I looked. But this list could grow. We could end up with something more as well. Okay, just watch for that when you prepare for the meeting. All right, that was fairly quick for us. Thank you, Bob. Stu.
Just a second.
Okay. Catch you finishing your lunch?
All right, if you'd like to pull up the CASB report, I have some additional information since I submitted the report. During the legislative session, I reported to you on 25 different bills. Some of them failed during the process, others did pass, but I tried to choose the ones that I thought probably had the most significance for this particular district. This morning I got an email saying that the governor has decided to have an emergency legislative session. Some of you may have seen that as well. It will start on August 21st. As soon as I saw the email, I contacted the 4 legislators who serve our area, Representative Armagast and Representative Weinberg, Senator Marchman, and Senator Kirkmeyer. And I asked each of them as they went into the special session to please do all they could do to protect the funding for public education. I did hear back from Senator Marchman, and I want to read to you part of what she wrote because I think it's significant. She said, I want to reassure you right away, there will be no cuts to K-12 education. None are on the table in this special session. The governor's executive order and the session call both confirm that protecting education funding is a priority. So I received that today. So,
Thank you.
sure, so that you know that. Let's go through the bills quickly, and when I say go through them, I'm going to call out the number of the bill as to whether it's a House bill or a Senate bill. I'm certainly not going to read you what I sent you, nor am I going to read you the sentences that I highlighted. but I am going to call particular attention to a sentence or two in most of the bill summaries. So the first one, HB 251135, Communication Devices in Schools. We've discussed this. I know there's been considerable interest in the community. So about halfway down that paragraph, you'll see the sentence, boards have discretion in developing the policy, including whether to impose restrictions and what those restrictions should be. We believe that we are pretty much in agreement with the language of this bill. We will need to develop a policy, but they have given us a lot of flexibility. And I had mentioned that to you before. At the point that the bill was actually passed, that didn't change. So for the benefit of the board members and the members of the community who have been interested, particularly in this bill as it relates to cell phones, I think we can feel fairly comfortable that we'll have a lot of flexibility in terms of developing a policy that actually fits Thompson schools and reflects perhaps what we're already doing. The next one is HB 251312, Legal Protections for Transgender Individuals. Again, as I said, I'm not going to read you what I highlighted, but I will call particular attention to the two sentences that follow the highlighting, which say school districts with a chosen name policy required by a different bill must ensure the policy is inclusive of all reasons that the student might adopt a name that differs from their legal name. And the next sentence is any dress code policy must allow each student to choose from any of the options provided in the dress code policy. That is to say, dress codes must not be enforced by gender. So just calling particular attention to those other things. And regarding this particular bill, although the bill was effective on May 16th, several sections don't take effect until October 1st, 2026. But I'm sure that CASB and legal will be following this. HB 251230 is a bill that I brought to you a little later in the legislative session because it was introduced a little later. The title of the bill is Changes Violation Driver Overtaking School Bus, and this authorizes state and local governments with school board approval to install automatic identification systems to detect and penalize drivers who illegally pass a stopped school bus. The bill was effective on July 7th, and this is something that I think probably down the road our board may want to discuss in terms of whether we want to install these devices that would target people who are breaking the law by passing a school bus when they're not supposed to. I don't have anything additionally to offer you on HB 251245, which is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning improvement projects in schools. I did highlight one important sentence. The bill does not require entities to make any HVAC improvements, but we had talked about it a couple of times. The School Finance Act, HB 251320, is of course very important to school funding in Colorado. I'll call attention to the sentence that follows the highlighted sentence. It also extends the transition to the new formula, the new funding formula, from 6 to 7 years, modifies the hold harmless provision to ensure that districts receive at least their fiscal year 2024-2025 funding levels through 26-27, and provides a baseline increase for 27-28 through 2030-31. So just calling particular attention to that bill. It's a very important bill for schools and school districts. The next one, I don't have anything in particular to call attention to, is HB 251192, Financial Literacy Graduation Requirement. We had talked before that our district used to have a similar requirement, which went away a few years ago. It will now be necessary to instate or reinstate a graduation requirement related to financial literacy. We also talked about HB 25-1149, comprehensive Black history and culture education in K-12. Other than the sentence that I highlighted for you, I don't have anything to add to that. HB 25-1274, the Healthy School Meals for All program. In addition to what I highlighted, the sentence above the highlighting is important. The bill refers 2 ballot issues to the voters at the November 2025 statewide election concerning funding for the Healthy School Meals for All program. And so this is something that we will certainly, as a district, want to follow. Nutritional services, I'm sure we'll be very interested in how this works. So now I think we just wait to see what the 2 ballot issues are. At one point, they were going to try to figure out, they being the legislature, if there was a preference between the 2. Apparently they couldn't do that, so they're going to put both of them on the ballot. As an individual voter, I think I might find that confusing, and for that reason I think I might be a little concerned. I'm speaking just as an individual, not as a board member. As a voter, I might be a little confused about, am I supposed to vote for one or both? And if one, which one? So I'm a little concerned about what's going to happen to that program as a result of the legislative decision. Again, that's my opinion as a voter. HB 25-1059, we talked about this once or twice, food waste reduction in public schools. I want to call your attention to the first sentence. I didn't highlight it. This bill encourages school boards to consider adopting an optional policy to reduce food waste in school cafeterias. And then the beginning of the next sentence, while not required, local policies may include strategies such as. Down the road, I would like us to perhaps consider this. After we've had an opportunity to talk to nutritional services, we encourage our kids to be environmentally conscious, to pay attention to what's going on in the world, to care about the needs of other people, etc. And this bill, I think, offers an opportunity, an educational opportunity for kids to get involved in this particular aspect. So I don't know if this will come up in terms of legislation again, but this board member will probably bring it up another
Well, I
time.
think we've had schools bring it up.
Pardon me?
We've had
We've had
students bring
kids.
it up to us.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Barb. I think, Dr. Heller, if we decide to proceed with this, this might be a wonderful opportunity to involve the student advisory groups, probably at all 3 levels. Moving on, just a couple left. SB 25-276 is protecting civil rights immigration status. In addition to the one sentence that I highlighted, the second sentence in your paragraph says it prohibits public schools from collecting information that might relate to a person's immigration status. And a couple lines down it says, however, collecting such information is permissible if required by state or federal law. Also, some additional information that I received about this is that we must have a policy in place by September 1st that outlines a procedure to follow in the event of a visit from federal immigration officials. CASB will release a regulation this month with a recommendation that boards do an emergency adoption. So the legislature said, we're going to do this. There was nothing in place. CASB has been working this summer to try to come up with an emergency policy that will actually address what the law requires. So our legal team is probably familiar with this, but I wanted to make sure that the board is aware that this will need to happen. And the last one is SB 25, Senate Bill 25-154, access to educator pathways. I don't have anything to report in regard to that. So that's my report, which is kind of a summary of this last legislative session.
Thank you very much, Steve. This was really helpful.
Thank you.
Pulls it back into our wee brains as we had summer, not thinking about it.
Yeah.
All right. All right, our next item is study session, discussion items, and I think we pretty much generated that yesterday at our retreat, but we aren't prepared to do anything with putting it on the calendar. So, I think that's sort of tabled until we have a chance to get together in September, okay? Any future topics that we didn't include yesterday that you're wanting added?
Only maybe this one about doing something with food waste in the
Okay.
cafeterias.
That's what I was gonna say, I
Okay.
would second that. I think it's a big issue, and I know we throw a huge
Oh,
amount of food
Yeah.
away.
Of course we do. Every school district does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throws away
Yeah, and so if we, I mean, I think.
monumental amounts of food.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, does anybody have anything else to bring forward tonight? Not, this meeting is adjourned, shortest one ever.